guys, so today I thought I'd do a tutorial for you on the look that I was wearing in my last video, which was my Q&A video. My fitness video is coming up, but to be honest there's not a lot to explain to you, but I know you're all excited for that, so that will be up after this one. Yeah, so if you like this look and you kind of fancy giving it a go, then keep watching. So I've zoomed you in a little bit so you can see what I'm about to do. I've already applied my base and my eyebrows. All of the products that I use will be listed below for you. The first thing that I'm going to do is apply MAC's Soft Ochre Paint Pot. It looks like this. You can use any eye base that you like, really. It doesn't really matter, but I would suggest you always use a base because it just helps your product stick better. So I'm going to apply this with my middle finger, not meaning to flip you guys off. And if you see me looking down, it's because I've got a mirror down there. I've kind of balanced it on a load of boxes. If you could see this now, you'd all be laughing at me. I need to get one of those like proper stand-up ones, but I don't know. Once you've done that to both eyes, we're then going to go in with the colour Soft Brown by MAC, which looks like this. So you can see it's kind of a medium, warm-toned brown. So you're going to take that colour on a fluffy brush. This is one by Kiko. It just looks like this. As you can see, I've been using it a lot. These are actually really good. I really, really like them. So what I'm going to do is just place that back and forth and blend it into the crease area. Don't worry if you go too high, you go too low. It doesn't really matter. This is kind of just a nice transition colour, just to give the eyes a little bit of something, because actually, if you remember correctly in that video, it was all about the lips, so it doesn't really matter. It's just kind of to give your eyes a little bit more definition. Blend, 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 and blend. This is the key to any eyeshadow look. The next thing I'm going to do is take my miniature Smashbox full exposure palette. So I do have the big one, but I don't have it with me. This is like a tiny, weeny, really awesome mini one. And what I did next was I just took this shade, which is shimmer number 3, as it says on the back. And all I did was take my ring finger and pat this over my eyelid. That's literally all I did. You can use a brush if you want. Anything that's kind of flat and stiff is fine, or just like me, take a bit on your finger and just press it into the eyelid. I kind of think it's really nice just to get this like nice, pretty, warm shimmer. Pack it on. Once you've done that, you're going to take the same soft brown eyeshadow by MAC and a flat stiff brush. This is the MAC 239. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this on the lower lash line. If you get really oily here as well, then you can put primer there, but I don't, so I don't see the point. Once you've done that, we're going to go on to the winged liner. So I'm going to zoom you in a little bit for that as well. This is where it could go horribly wrong. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take Soap & Glory's Supercat liner, which looks like this. This is a felt tip pen liner. Oh, things are crashing. It looks like this. If you prefer to use gel liner, then go ahead and use gel liner. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you feel most comfortable with. And what I like to do is I will start from the inner corner. Drag it all the way along. Now is the tricky part. So what I like to do is kind of put a dot here, or wherever you want your flick to go out, and then I sort of drag it to join the dots. And let's go about there. I don't know if you can see that. Ta-da! Then what I normally do is take a smaller brush, so an angled brush like this, and what I will do just to get rid of kind of the harsh edge of that dot is kind of wet it first. So I always have a wipe in front of me. I know that sounds weird. So I will kind of dampen the brush and I'll just flick the edge to get that sharper point. And then what you can do is take a fluffy brush again, a concealer brush, or you can use any kind of, just like a small brush. And what I like to do is just take whatever's left over from my concealer and just kind of make sure to do a little bit of a clean up. Ta-da! I'm going to go back and do the other eye, and then you shall be back with me for mascara. Once you've done that, you're going to take your eyelash curlers, or if you don't like curling your lashes, then feel free not to, but I do. So I'm just going to press and hold. Just make sure you're not getting the skin, so get as close to that lash line as you possibly can. Squeeze, 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 release, and then just move up a little bit and then squeeze again. This gives you a nice even curl rather than that look where you've clamped at the base of the lash and then they kind of just like stick out. It looks really odd. So make sure that you clamp near your lash line. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Move up a little bit and clamp again. And then you can sort of just fluff them out and make sure that they're all curled and pretty. This is not the mascara that I actually used on the day. I used my Maybelline Lash Sensational, but I'm trying to use up a few bits. So what I'm going to use is my sample of the Lancome Hypnose mascara. So this is a tiny weenie tube. But I do actually really like this. It's just that I prefer the Maybelline one. But this is actually really nice if you want some volume and loads of length. It really gives you those kind of pretty, doe-eyed, kind of girly, fluttery lashes. So what I'm doing is I am placing the product at the base of my lashes, and then I'm kind of wiggling it and then dragging the product through. By doing this, you kind of avoid clumps and also make sure that all of your lash is coated nicely, but you're putting the majority of the product at the base of the lash line, which is also going to make sure that your lashes look even thicker. I like to make sure that I do that because I don't like to tight line. I find it quite weird and I don't find it necessary. Once you've done your top ones, just take whatever's left over on the mascara wand and do your bottom lashes. Feel free to pull very strange faces like most of us do. In my Q&A video, I was wearing a really quite bright lip. I've been into lips lately, and the product I'm going to use for this, and the product I used on the day, is actually the YSL Kiss Blush, which is a beautiful, beautiful colour, and this is in number 5. Now, these you can use on your lips and also on your cheeks. I have tried both, I like both, but I find I prefer it for my lips. I think with most of these double products, you're always going to end up using whatever they're for, more predominantly for one thing. That's what I always find anyway. But what I would say about these is that it is one of the better multi-purpose products I have tried, because when you use it as a blush, it doesn't fade, it doesn't really stain your skin either, but it doesn't slip off straight away. I find a lot of these things are either too sticky for the cheeks when they're supposed to be used on lips as well and all that kind of stuff. So I do actually really, really like these. If you can't get your hands on this, then find a lip cream that's a similar colour, because this is kind of like a creamy velvety texture. It's not quite a liquid lipstick, it's more of a lip cream. I know that NYX do one in the colour, let me see, I'll have it here. This is the colour Ibiza. It's quite similar. This is not quite as bright as the YSL one, but they are very similar in colour. So if you're on a budget, then the NYX lip cream in the colour Ibiza is basically a dupe. Okay. I'm going to start with my bottom lip. And then go on to the top one. Once you've done that, I also added bronzer. So I'm going to take my Topshop bronzer in the colour Mohawk. I'm just taking my angled brush by Sigma. And I'm just going to place it wherever you would normally catch the sun. So high points of the face, basically. Cheekbones, temples, top of forehead, little bit on the nose, little bit on the chin. I like to bronze up my neck a little bit because I find that that's quite pale. I'm probably looking really, really pale because it's so grey outside and I'm actually using natural light. So if I look really, really white compared to my last few videos, that's why. Kind of switched to using natural light again, but today I probably should have waited till tomorrow when it wasn't going to be so grey, but it's really making me look like Snow White. I can see on my little viewfinder. So I also added blush. The colour I'm going to use is the Clinique, I think these are what these called, Cheek Pops, in the colour Ginger Pop. So I take this on the same brush. You can use your fingers as well. This is a beautiful kind of cream to powder formula, and I really, really, really love these. I think they're so, so good. So I tend to just use the same brush. Smile. Focus on the apples of the cheek, and then blend it back into the bronzer. Now, if you do smile to apply your blusher, just remember that as soon as you stop smiling, it's going to drop. So I always smile to give me an idea of where I want it and go ever so slightly higher than I think is appropriate, so that when my face is kind of resting bitch face, which I do have, it's really funny, people think I look really good, so that when my face is just kind of relaxed, it's still in the right place. And that, my lovelies, is the end of the tutorial. I hope that you've enjoyed yourself. If you would like to set it with powder, and that, my lovelies, is the end of the tutorial. I'm not going to use powder today, but obviously if you do get quite oily, then feel free to do so. I really like the Rimmel Stay Matte one. Bourjois do a fantastic one as well. And I also really love the MAC Prep and Prime translucent powder. Those would be my top picks. My skin's been quite dry lately, so I'm not going to bother with that today. I'm kind of liking the glow. If Harry sees this, she will be so surprised, I know. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you're having a lovely day wherever you are. For business inquiries, or if you want to drop me an email, you have questions and stuff, then I have an email address now. And also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, because if I'm not on YouTube, then I'm normally on there. Have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye. All of the products that I use will be list. Please don't have smashed. Please don't have smashed. Oh, thank you, God. So what we're going to do is just kind of chuck that.